All right. Hello and welcome to this short intro tutorial of Easyweb CMS and the adjacent code. With me today I have Niklas, who's driving the mouse.
Yeah, hi. I will help Oscar guide you through this step-by-step guide.
And we are supervised by Klaus.
And I sound like this, and I might chime in some more in-depth details if necessary.
All right. If you found your way here through the documentation, welcome. Hopefully you'll find what you're looking for regarding creating your account, creating your site, and getting access to the code that will run the local project of the site. If you found your way here through YouTube, welcome. Hopefully we'll keep you around. Please follow along with the guide and maybe you'll learn something new or find something interesting you want to try out. But we'll jump right into it. So we are currently at easyweb.site. We will link the URL in the description. And we start with the big green button. All right, so here we get to enter our email address and we click the create account button. Now we get a nice welcome to Easyweb screen. We need a few more information about the account, first name, last name. And then we can get notifications about interruptions, maintenance, or statistics and usings. Niklas will opt out of these, but feel free to opt in if you feel like it. Here we get to choose a fun little profile picture. Niklas is feeling like a desk lamp today because he's bright of ideas. So, as soon as our account is created, we'll be... That was a bit late, Klaus.
I'm sorry, I'm handling the soundboard, and I am a bit late.
We're at the account settings currently. And here we can see that we have a little blue bar that says looking to create a new site, and that's exactly what we're up to. So we can click the link, head over to My Sites to get started. And here, since we don't have any sites yet, we can just create the plus, click the plus, and name our site. Now Niklas has a little
Yeah, I think he
alarm
needs
clock
to get
here.
up stretching now.
Yeah, exactly. He needs to stretch his legs. We named our
And
site
remember,
our new
when
site.
you're working with Easyweb, keep in shape, take your walks, drink your water, breathe your air, and have fun.
Exactly. So we have a template here, which is the sample.net project headless. It's the only template currently available, so you don't need to change that. We can see under the text box where we named our site, we have a preliminary URL, which is dev our new site.easyweb.site. And hopefully you're a developer, so the dev will be accurate. We click create site and our site will be created. It'll take a few seconds for the system to draw up our site, but when we're successful, we get this success message and we will be automatically redirected to the start page of Easyweb CMS. And here we have the start view, which contains our last updated pages, which all of these have just been created, so they're very, very new, so they haven't really been updated, but they've been created. And then we have a few shortcuts here. All of these you can also reach from the header. So you just look for these icons in the header if you want to find your way there from some other view. So we have the studio, it's up by the little cloud to the right in the header. But beside the studio, to the left, we have the little cloud, which we will be clicking to get to the Easyweb API settings. So here we need to create API connections to our site to be able to fetch the data from our local project. So Niklas clicked create API connections, and now we have gotten a few properties that we will be pasting into our local project. And speaking of the local project, it's time to download the code. And to do that, an easy way to get there is to click the URL for our site, which is here in the API connections. You can also click on our URL up in the header. And if we click there, we will get to our running site. And here we have a big blue box that will redirect us to GitHub and the source code. So if you remember the template that the only template that we could choose was the .NET sample template, and that's also the repository that we're going to be downloading. So if you haven't been on GitHub before, you just click on the green code and you can copy the URL for the repository to your clipboard. So we'll do that. And then we will go over to our desktop and we'll create a new folder. We name it repo and we step into this folder. And here we can right click, open in terminal. And in the terminal, we'll be writing git clone and our URL. If this doesn't work for you, it probably means that you don't have the Git CLI installed and you'll need to install Git on your computer. But there's a lot of guides on how to do that online. So now we have the source code here. We can click into our folder. Now Niklas, he accidentally opened the Visual Studio community, but it's VS Code we want to open here.
So I can add to that these website projects or sites, they are quite extendable with .NET and C#, but you don't really require Visual Studio C# to build them. So Visual Code works well, but you can also build them well in Visual Studio.
So we'll choose our directory here to open the folder we just downloaded with the code in. We will trust the authors because the authors for this project are ourselves, and I'd say we trust ourselves. Hopefully you do too.
It took a while, but I trust you now.
That's nice to hear. So here in the code, there's a few things we want to do. If you have developed in the .NET framework earlier, you probably don't need to do these steps. But we will open the program.cs file first of all. So now we get a little notification from VS Code that's recommending us to install the C# dev kit, and we're gonna want to do that to be able to run this project. So this will install automatically. If it doesn't show the notification, just go to your extensions in Visual Studio Code and search for C# dev kit, and you'll probably find it. So while the dev kit...
This is comparable to like installing your, say, a React runtime environment or Node Express server.
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
It's a runtime.
So we can move over again to our files in the Explorer. And now we want to open the appsettings.json file. Because here we're gonna wanna paste in the properties we got when we created our API connection. So we'll go back to our site on Easyweb. And if you clicked off of this page with the API connections, you can just get here again by clicking the little cloud in the header. So we'll paste the union ID into union ID under data options. The client ID will be the OAuth2 property. So it's client ID. Then we have the secret, which we'll paste into client secret. And the 4 last characters of the endpoint root, we want to be reflecting the union ID. And that's all we need to do. So now we're just gonna test our project and see if it's running. So I'll ask Niklas to open the terminal in Visual Studio Code. And he can either do that by choosing View in the top left corner, and he can take the terminal, in the next to last option there. Yeah. So here we will type .net in a single word and then run. We'll see that our project is building and compiling the code in the project.
You could also, of course, in the end use the play button with the small bug in the left menu, but you have to set up a run profile. But in the long run, we'll show that later on.
So now we can see that we didn't get any error messages. Our code is running and it's listening on HTTPS localhost 44350. So we can follow that link into our. Oh, this is interesting.
So normally, all our pages are built using SSL or encrypted HTTP, the encrypted HTTP protocol. VS Code, we have to install a development certificate. Usually that goes pretty well. You'll be asked for a prompt saying like, would you like to install a development certificate? That didn't happen right now. I've noticed that doesn't always happen for VS Code. I've had this problem myself. The easiest way, if you just want to get started, see how it looks, is that, Niklas, you can click on the bottom link, continue to localhost, which says unsafe, but it's only unsafe because it doesn't recognize a valid certificate. And then we'll add, I think we'll clip in, Oscar, a guide on how we can add a development certificate manually.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be the last thing in this video. You can search for it in the chapters of the video, and we'll have a short guide on how to set up your local certificate. But here we see that we have our site running. Niklas is still getting notifications about focus, which is very good
Has he
because
stretched
that's
now?
what we're trying to do. Maybe
I
he's
thought he was
stretched.
manning the wheels, but now he's obviously been up and stretching. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
That was.
So here we see the Easyweb.net boilerplate, and just to show you kind of what the CMS is capable of, we can go back to our site on Easyweb, and we can go to the start, and then we can check our shortcuts there and click Edit Pages, or we can just go to the start page in the recently edited, last updated section. But here we have the start page, which is reflecting the start page of our project. And if we now, we can see that the headline on our site is actually reflecting the headline that we have in Easyweb. So if we change this headline in Easyweb to our new headline and save and publish, and then reload our project, we can see that it reflects the changes we do inside the CMS. And then we have some more information here. If you scroll down in the website, you can see we have a few links to Easyweb Studio, scopes, tags, and attributes. And that's some documentation that is already in your site in the news section that you can read about. But we will be deep diving further into these different subjects in later videos. All right, thanks for watching. We'll be back next time. And if you want to install your local certificate, just hang right by and we'll show you how to do that just now. All right, so welcome back. Now we'll take a gander at this problem with the local SSL certificate. So if you go over to our code, we can actually clean up our terminals. So Niklas can, down in the right-hand corner, he can trash his two ongoing terminals, one with .NET and one with PowerShell, and we'll do this from the beginning. So we'll open up the terminal by going to View and clicking Terminal. And here we have the terminal open. And now we'll write a command to create our local SSL. We'll type .NET dev certs HTTP trust, and we will link the command in the description. So before the trust, we'll also want to add a double dash. So now we'll run this command. And we'll see that we get a warning which says that we're now gonna install a certificate from for our local host, which we want. So we'll click yes. And then we get the message successfully created or trusted the existing HTTPS certificate. All right, then we can once again type .NET run to start building and running our project. And now hopefully our browser will accept the site without complaining about the certificate. So we click the localhost HTTPS link. We can see that our browser has been started. And now we can also see that we're getting no warnings about the SSL certificate. If you're still getting warnings about the SSL certificate, just try to close your browser and reopen it, and hopefully the errors will be gone. Well, that'll be all. We'll see you next time. Thank you, Niklas. Thank you, Klaus.
Bye.
Bye.